Hi everyone, this is Mary Schaefer with my water filtration setup. Uh, so to start us off, um, I began this inquiry activity with a plan. I kind of thought about what kinds of lands would be filtering the water, and I came up with two situations to try out. The first one would be more grasslands. Um, I started at the top with a grassy area by using the coffee filter because I felt that would be the first thing the water would hit, followed by root systems, followed by sand, which would be the thin topsoil, the subsoil of charcoal, which charcoal is naturally found within the ground, so I felt that that was maybe a good level for that, followed by the gravel, the bedrock, and then actually ended up with my filtered water. Now, the bedrock, I didn't feel necessary of putting anything really there since bedrock is usually the hardest part of it, except for the crevices that it may have. So I just broke the bottom of the cup and the water dripped through the bottom. The other place that water would probably be filtered would in a drier land. There's not going to be as much plant life, so I didn't use a coffee filter at the top. I wanted to use the alum, so I did that first to kind of see what that would bring me. The coffee filter, which would have been the thin topsoil, charcoal again, same fragment. Again, the gravel, the lining of the cup as the bedrock, and then again, my filtered water. So what did we end up with? Experiment A, as seen here, started at the top, went through the grass, through the root system, down into the sand, through the charcoal, and then back through, or through the gravel, and then through the cup, which had the crack at the bottom, and then my filtered water at the bottom. There was my setup of how I went about all the levels. And then what did I end up with? I had my control and my filtered. It definitely did get filtered, but nothing that I probably would drink. And I held it up against the light to see if there were any particles, and there were a little bit of particles at the bottom of experiment A. Experiment B went as this. This was the drier section, I felt. Through all of the layers, down again into the bedrock where it collected and then slowly dripped into the bottom. Again, filtered, but nothing I would want to drink on a hot day. Going along, again, my setup and my results. My filtered against the control. Again, as you can see, definitely clean, but if you do look when I held it up to the light, there was a lot more deposits at the bottom, things that still came out at the end after the entire filtration system. So to compare, I put my two filtered next to the control. It's very clear that it was able to get out the major debris, but still ended up with some murky looking water at the end, both not that clear. And I really can't tell which one filtered more as far as like the experiment B ended up with more deposits at the bottom, but it kind of looks clearer, at least when I did it, than A. A still had like a very brown twinge to it. So, I mean, the deposits settled at the bottom, but it seemed that they ended up with two completely different results. So that was my overall experiment. It's going back to the readings, however, and the essential question of this entire project. After doing the Fay and Brett's reading, I looked at the rubric on page 40 and I felt that it had an inquiry level of about 2, since we were given the direction of what we were supposed to do. And I actually got caught up on this because I was emailing saying, where's the instructions? Are we supposed to be following a set amount of steps? And what are we supposed to be doing? And that caught me off guard that we had so much freedom. So it gave us a level 2 inquiry level. And looking at the continuum, it was more self-directed. As I said, we had a lot more freedom. I went down each question and kind of circled where we were at. We directed the collection of data because we were allowed to use any of the supplies in any way, shape, or form. We were given possible ways to use the evidence since she did post videos as far as using the Illume and the videos of how other students had done it. That's why I came up with the rubber bands as far as the root system. We were given possible connections of, okay, we should end up with filtered water, but how we go about that was up to us. And we ourselves were kind of coached in the development of communication because we were told at the end what we were supposed to be highlighting in this video and as well as the posting. But overall, we were given the problem and we came up with the data and the solution to ourselves. I felt this project was very interesting, and after doing the reading of inquiry, it definitely gave me a different insight as far as how labs are going to be done. Again, being caught off guard and expecting a set of rules of what we were supposed to do and given so much freedom was fun for me, but I wasn't prepared for it. So that was my project of my water filtration. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.